Next, cost of goods consumed. Not for profit organization consume consumable items. Example, stationery is consumed in the office, medicines in the hospitals, sports materials by a sports club, and so on. In such a case, separate stock account for each of the consumable item is prepared to determine the consumption during the year. Income and expenditure account will show correct surplus or deficit only if the goods consumed are debited to income and expenditure account and closing stock is shown in the balance sheet. The amount of items consumed during the year is calculated as follows. Calculation of materials consumed or used during the year. Example, sports material, medicine, stationery, etc. Amount paid for materials plus opening stock of materials minus closing stock of materials. Then plus creditors of materials at the end minus creditors of materials in the beginning. Plus advance paid for materials in the beginning minus advance paid for materials at the end. From the following information, determine the amount to be debited to stationery account in income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st March 2019. Stock of stationery on 1st April 2018, 30,000. Creditors for stationery on 1st April 2018, 20,000. Amount paid for stationery during the year ended 31st March 2019, 1,08,000. Stock of stationery on 31st March 2019, 5,000. Creditors for stationery on 31st March 2019, 13,000. Also show the above items in the income and expenditure account for the year ended 31st March 2019 and in the balance sheet as at that date. Stock of stationery on 1st April 2018, that is the opening stock of stationery. Creditors for stationery on 1st April 2018, that is the creditors in the beginning. Amount paid for stationery, that is the amount given in the receipt and payment account. Stock of stationery on 31st March 2019, closing stock, rupees 5,000. Creditors for stationery on 31st March 2019, 13,000. Creditors at the end. Statement showing stationery consumed during 2018-19. Amount paid for stationery 1,08,000. Amount paid for stationery 1,08,000 plus opening stock of stationery 30,000 plus creditors for stationery on 31st March 2019. Amount paid for stationery plus opening stock of stationery plus creditors for stationery at the end. Opening stock of stationery 30,000, creditors for stationery 13,000 minus closing stock of stationery 5,000, creditors for stationery at the end 20,000. Creditors for stationery in the beginning 20,000. Net amount after adjustment 1,20,000 is the stationery consumed during the year. An extract of income and expenditure account. Stationery consumed is debited to income and expenditure account. To stationery consumed 1,26,000. Extract of balance sheet. Creditors for stationery. Creditors are the liabilities. So creditors for stationery are recorded on the liability side of the balance sheet. Asset side, stock of stationery, that is the closing stock of stationery. Stock of stationery is an asset. Closing stock of stationery, rupees 5,000.